Hi, I'm Josh, the founder of the accountability group, and if you're wondering why I have my phone out, it is because I need to do a 15-minute video or more to verify our account that I am actually who I say I am. So, hi, I'm Josh, I'm an addict and an alcoholic, and I am the founder of the accountability group, and I am in recovery. Let me start the timer, and when you hear it go off, I've talked for at least 15 minutes, but in this case it'll be 17. As you can see, I have a lot of copies of, well, Alcoholics Anonymous, Smart Recovery. I've got a lot of books. As well, you know, if you've read the big book a bunch, self-knowledge alone will not stop us from that drink. So yeah, I guess what we're going to be doing today is making sure that we at least hit the 15-minute mark, but like I said, it'll be 17 minutes. I'm going to go through daily reflections, Touchstones, and the daily stoic, and then from there I might touch on some of the stuff from the big book, but most likely I'll just read how it works towards the end, so people understand kind of what the program's about and how it works. So let's start off with daily reflections. So this is daily reflections, and today is May 14th. So May 14th, from Daily Reflections. It's okay to be me. Time after time, newcomers have tried to keep to themselves certain facts about their lives. They have turned to easier methods, but they had not learned enough humility. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 72 through page 73. Humility sounds so much like humiliation, but it really is the ability to look at myself and honestly accept what I find. I no longer need to be the smartest or dumbest or any est. Finally, it's okay to be me. It is easier for me to accept myself if I share my whole life. If I cannot share in meetings, then I'd better have a sponsor, someone with whom I can share those certain facts that could lead me back to a drunk to death. I need to take small steps. I need the fifth step to learn true humility. Easier methods do not work. That's actually a really good one that applies to me. There's a saying that I always tell my friends over the years, that it's okay to not be okay, and that's okay. And there are a lot of times where I'm not okay. I mean, even being in recovery and having time, it's a struggle some days. There are bad days, bad things happen. I've had to bury a lot of people in the past 12 months, which is tough. It is tough. But yeah, I've gotten comfortable in my own skin, which is at least what I get from this reading today, that it's okay to be me. I have a sponsor, I have a home group, I have a service position. My sponsor knows that he's my sponsor, which is always important. We meet once a week. We go through the big book regularly. I go through the 12 steps with him regularly. So it's more, one of the things that he always likes to say is, wear life like a loose garment, because sometimes I can get really intense. I'm the type of person that's very detail oriented and kind of a control freak. So sometimes I have a lot of difficulty with the curveballs that life throws at you every single day, but it happens. Okay, so that was the reading from Daily Reflections. It's okay to be me, which means it's okay to be you. Find someone that you can be completely yourself with. I know with my sponsor, the very first meeting that we had years ago. He basically sat me down and he was like, "What's the worst thing you've ever done in your life?" And he was like, "I want you to like write it down on a piece of paper." And this is nothing new. Like plenty of people have done this before. And I wrote down what I considered to be the worst thing that I had ever done. And then I like handed it to him. He read it, and then he lit it on fire, and it's like, boom. All right, well, that's the worst thing you've ever done. Then it's gonna be really easy from here. Going through step 4 and step 5. Yeah, and he was right. He was right. A lot of people feel relieved when they go through those steps, and 8 and 9 as well. But like for me, I don't know. It brings up a lot of emotions, so I generally feel worse, regardless of how many times I've done it, just because it brings up a lot of emotions. Then, yeah, humility is important because I can't control everything. I can control my own actions, thoughts, and behaviors, but as much as I'd like to, I can't control the actions, thoughts, and behaviors of others, and I can't control the world. But what I can control is how I feel, and I feel good to be me. It's actually enjoyable, so that's nice. Alright, so that was daily reflections. Next is Touchstones. Again, May 14th. Touchstones, as you can see, looks like this. Alright, so May 14th from Touchstones. Often the wisdom of the body clarifies the despair of the spirit. Marion Woodman. The unity of body and spirit becomes more real for us as we learn to listen to the messages our bodies give. Perhaps if we are frequently ill with a cold, we are hiding from the fact that we are discouraged and in need of something for our spirit. We all face the problems at times of sleeplessness or backaches or allergies. These are not moral problems, but problems that go with being human. When we are open to the spirit dimension, we look for the part that may express a message from our spiritual selves. As we notice our physical selves today, we perhaps feel tension in a muscle or a sensation somewhere that can speak to us about our deeper feelings. The message may not be clear at first. Spiritual messages are not quick answers, but if we listen to our questions a while, the answers may gradually become clear. Simply being open to the messages strengthens us for our tasks and deepens our spiritual awareness. Today, I am learning to listen to the wisdom of my own body. This is actually a really interesting read for me. It's kind of, I don't know, it's weird. I'm actually gonna read through this again. I apologize if everybody got it the first time, but I have to go back through it. So this is, again, Touchstones, May 14th. Often the wisdom of the body clarifies the despair of the spirit. Marion Woodman. The unity of body and spirit becomes more real for us as we learn to listen to the messages our bodies give. Perhaps if we are frequently ill with a cold, we are hiding from the fact that we are discouraged and in need of something for our spirit. We all face the problems at times of sleeplessness, or backaches, or allergies. These are not moral problems, but problems that go with being human. We are open to the spirit dimension. We look for the part that may express a message from our spiritual selves. As we notice our physical selves today, we perhaps feel a tension in a muscle or a sensation somewhere that can speak to us about our deeper feelings. The message may not be clear at first. Spiritual messages are not quick answers. But if we listen to our questions a while, the answers may gradually become clear. Simply being open to the messages strengthens us for our tasks and deepens our spiritual self-awareness. Today I'm learning to listen to the wisdom of my own body. So, the reason I had to reread that, Aaron, again, I apologize apologize that you had to hear that for a second time, is because one of my close friends in AA and NA, one of the things that we always talk about is just doing the next right thing and making sure that we're in the center of the fellowship. I used to always sit in the back row. Like I always had that seat, which I called the ejection seat. So as soon as somebody said something that I thought was stupid or disagreed with, I could just walk right out. And I wouldn't disturb anybody. I would never sit in the front row. Now at meetings, you catch me sitting in the front row all the time. I'm one of those annoying people who sits in the front row. And I generally don't share at meetings unless I really have to get something off my chest. And just whatever I'm dealing with, because I have co-occurring disorders. So for me, it's not just addiction, it's also mental health. I suffer from clinical depression, major depressive disorder, social anxiety disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and a whole bunch of other acronyms that are basically alphabet soup. But the part that I really enjoy is the part that we always keep saying, like, keep coming back. And that's the openness of the spiritual awakening, because that's what this is I'm allergic to alcohol and other things, and it makes me sick and it makes me ill, and I back in the day used to just try and hide it from people. I would isolate. I did not go to clubs or lounges or bars, nothing like that. I would just get whatever I needed. I would go be by myself. And sometimes that would be a short spree, and other times it would be quite a long period in which I would find myself in hospitals, detoxes, 23 different rehabs. I remember I was talking to one of my friends after a meeting, and she was like, you should give Yelp reviews on rehab clinics, because I had been to so many since I was very young, and they were not nice. If you've ever been to a state-run facility, yeah, they are not the best, but the message may not be clear at first. Spiritual messages are not quick answers, but if we listen to our questions a while, the answers may gradually become clear. Simply being open to the messages strengthens us for our tasks and deepens our spiritual awareness. So a lot of healing that spiritual malady for me is just showing up to meetings. So I have a home group, I have a service position, I act even though that's not the case. I act like the men's liaison as opposed to the treasurer. I don't know. I try and figure out a way to help as many people as I possibly can without putting my sobriety in jeopardy. That's the biggest thing. Like if someone's out there drowning and they're panicking, if I go out there to save them, then there's the potential that they might bring me under. Now if there's a person out there who's looking for help, but isn't panicking, they're just genuinely looking for help, then those are the types of individuals, if they keep coming back to meetings, that they're much easier to help, because I'm not jeopardizing my sobriety. That's not what I'm going to do. And I've talked to my sponsor and my grand sponsor about this before, because I was raised Roman Catholic, and as soon as I was confirmed, I left the Catholic Church. Like they gave me my name. I was 16 at the time, I believe, or no, I was 15. Yeah, I was 15 when I was confirmed, and they gave my name, and I said, so am I an adult in the eyes of the Catholic Church? And they're like, yes. And then my second question was, can I make any decision I want regarding, like, the Catholic church and religion? And they said yes. I was like, cool, I'm out of here. And I never went back. And I still haven't, so I still have a spiritual connection to, God or a higher power, as I view him, her, them. I'm also big into Eastern philosophy and meditation and things of that nature. That's why you see like Dharma Punk and Refuge Recovery and a variety of other books. Well, you might not be able to see all the titles. You'd probably have to like zoom in to read all the different things that are up on this. But regardless, that's where I get like most of my info. Let me see how much time we're at. Oh wow, okay. I've burned up a lot of time, so we'll get through the Daily Stoic real quick. This is the Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. The Daily Stoic, May 14th. Our well-being lies in our actions. Those observed with glory attach their well-being to the regard of others. Those who love pleasure tie it to feelings. But the one with true understanding seeks it only in their own actions. Think on the character of the people one wishes to please, the possessions one means to gain, and the tactics one employs to such ends. How quickly time erases such things, and how many has it wiped away already. Now I'm going to stop here and turn off the timer, because it's about ready to go off. And I don't really need the flashlight, so I don't know why that was on. And I don't want a message to play, so we'll keep going. I already cleared the 15 minutes to get a verifiable account. That way I can, send out more videos. Like I was trying to do the 12 and 12, and I got through 5 videos or 6 videos, but I set it all up so that it was going to go day by day, and we could do the 12 and 12 each day, and I could just hear people's comments, and you could comment below and subscribe to the channel, because the plan is to help people. My plan is just to help one person. Now if we help a whole bunch of people with this startup, that'd be great, because it is a social venture startup, and we are trying to raise venture capital and raise money through GoFundMe and raise money through other avenues. Right now I've just been spending my own money, and my background is in technology. So I got my undergrad and grad from Stanford University. I do a lot of work in augmented reality, virtual reality, and the Internet of Things. I'm currently getting an MBA and a Master's of Science degree in computer science focused on artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I've managed to recruit a whole bunch of people that are interested in helping me somehow. Somehow, some way, I've gathered marketers, content creators, data analytics backgrounds, and they're all working on sweat equity because I'm definitely not paying them. I don't even pay myself. This is just a way for me to try and help and reach out. So I'm going to reread this from the beginning. So this is the Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. May 14th. Our well-being lies in our actions. Those obsessed with glory attach their well-being to the regard of others. Those who love pleasure tie it to feelings. But the one with true understanding seeks it only in their own actions. Think on the character of the people one wishes to please, the possessions one wishes to gain, the tactics one employs to such ends. How quickly time erases such things, and how many has it wiped away already. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, page 59. If your happiness is dependent on accomplishing certain goals, what happens if fate intervenes? What if you're snubbed? If outside events interrupt, what if you do achieve everything, but find that nobody is impressed? That's the problem with letting your happiness be determined by things you can't control. It's an insane risk. If an actor focuses on the public reception to a project, whether critics like it or whether it's a hit, they will be constantly disappointed and hurt. But if they love their performance and put everything they have into making it the best they're capable of, they will always find satisfaction in their job. Like them, we should take pleasure from our actions in taking the right actions rather than the results that come from them. Our ambition should not be to win, then, but to play with our full effort. Our intention is not to be thanked or recognized, but to help and to do what we think is right. Our focus is not what happens to us, but on how we respond. In this, we always find content and resilience. Ooh, that one really got to me. So, earlier I just rattled off like a list of stupid outside achievements. When I was much younger, like that stuff really mattered to me. Like physical possessions, how I was perceived, academically how I was performing, what degrees I was getting. My previous focus was on startups that just were to make money. Like they had nothing to do with helping people. It was just like how to make money. And then when I finally came out as an addict when I was 20, and started going to rehabs, well, I was first hospitalized and then started going to rehabs. And eventually, later on, I'll do my 15-minute short story to share my experience, strength, and hope. But for now, this is just so that YouTube hopefully verifies our account. That way we'll be able to do the 12 and 12, and I'll be able to go through the big book, and then we'll be able to go through other versions of ways that, hopefully it saves a life. And if we can save one, then to me that's worth it. If we save more than one, that's great. But like I said, I've buried a lot of people since I was 20, and it has a ripple effect. It has a rough ripple effect. Sorry, I got a little emotional there. But yeah, the part that I liked for me is the evolution and how I personally have changed. So even though I'm working on 2 more degrees right now, well, I guess technically 3 if you count my doctorate, but I don't really count that personally. But I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this stuff for anybody else, and I don't even the diplomas and certifications and all the stuff that I have. They're in boxes in storage. I don't put them up on the wall or anything like that. And I think it goes back to the humility that we were discussing earlier. But the reason that I started the accountability group, tag, you're it, which I found out is touch and go. I probably should have learned that earlier as a child. I shouldn't have learned that in my late 20s, early 30s. I forget when I learned it. Now I'm as Eminem said about Benzino, I'm close to kicking 40's door down. Everybody that's a millennial will probably get that reference, but that was Eminem. Anyway, the point is that I really liked that section, that your heart is in it. It's one of those things that people always say, that if you do what you love, then you'll never work a day in your life. And recently I was asked about my recent blog post, or I guess my first blog post, where it's one of the earlier pictures of me being hospitalized, and I have a feeding tube up my nose, and someone was like, why would you post that on your blog, on your website? And I was like, because it's real. I mean, this is real. This is what I've been through. If I can't be open and honest and hold myself accountable, then I'd be a giant hypocrite. trying to do what? So that's the one thing that you'll never get from me. You won't get anybody that's discontent with just being myself. Now you may get me emotional like I got earlier. I'm still emotional thinking about all the people that I've lost over the years. But yeah, you won't get any like weird promotions or anything of that nature. You'll get a lot of readings. I'll be interested in everybody's comments, what their experiences are with humility, with the spiritual malady. You can set up anonymous accounts on YouTube with a fake Gmail account or something of that nature if you don't want other people to know anything about you. That's totally fine. A lot of people use recovery posse hashtag and hashtag ODAAT, so that's, just one day at a time. Easy does it, right? So there's a lot of things that I guess we'll discuss in the future, but I just wanted to make sure that I at least made a video long enough that hopefully YouTube verifies the account, because I really would love to set up the 12 and 12. That way I can just upload all the videos and people can, work through the process just like my sponsors over the years have worked with me, and my current sponsor, who is amazing, he's been amazing, has done so with me many times, but I just love to hear everybody's feedback, and I think if you've been doing this as long as I have, both active addiction and recovery, you know how many people you lose. And there's also a lot to talk about in terms of the spiritual malady, in terms of humility, in terms of working the program, in terms of working the steps, in terms of the readings. There's so much to discuss and so many different ways to help people, whether it's AA, NA, CA, GA, SAA, Smart Recovery, Refuge Recovery, going back to church. Maybe I should go back to church. I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't been to church in a while. Well, since I was like 15. I'm not even one of those 2-a-year church people who go on like Christmas and Easter. I don't go. But yeah, that should wrap us up. That should take the 15 minutes. Again, I'm Josh, founder of the accountability group. I hope to hear your comments, and please subscribe. That way you'll get updates, and we'll try and keep this train moving, and hopefully we raise enough capital that our application will be able to support a lot of people, because that's what we're trying to do. It's not a lot of people have the resources to get the help that they need, and we're trying to figure out a way to make sure that they can get the best treatment and care possible. Now, we can't provide that, but we can develop an application that gives them access to a lot of the support systems that I eventually got in my life. So, with that, I will say thank you for listening to this extended version of a YouTube video. The other ones probably won't be this long, but hopefully this helps verify the account. And I wish all of you well, and just keep working the program. So, work it because you're worth it. Alright, signing off.